Education is like a funnel, but messy to demonstrate on stage and small. So Emily has created a video for us to demonstrate. Sometimes education is like the video. We carefully select our main theories and we gather together really good research documentation and even some examples. We mix it all into a course and we pour it out to our students. As teachers, we hope that our students will take all that information in, their brains will just absorb it all in, just like a sponge. However, we don't always know how it impacts our students. And honestly, we know that some of our students just do not love our subjects as much as we do.
I teach a required liberal arts course for upperclassmen. My course is designed to develop student and servant leaders who want to go out and change the world for the better. In my course, I had research, theories, specific examples. I thought I had plenty of learning materials for my students to understand the concepts that were necessary in my course. It wasn't until I got their discussion board posts, their papers, and finally their course reviews that I had to ask myself a few hard reflective questions.
What did the course reviews say that the students gave you, Emily?
Well, my students expressed to me that they wanted to do well in my course, but they just didn't understand how the content related to them or their lives. As a teacher who's passionate about social justice and servant leadership, this was heartbreaking and disappointing. Here's what they said.
The majority of this course did not resonate with me on any level. I didn't feel like I gained anything from it. My favorite methods were the discussions and the videos that the instructor included in the modules as examples.
What can I do to engage my students and show them the importance of social justice and servant leadership?
This is how I met Emily, frustrated. I'm an instructional designer, and my job is to work with teachers to redesign their courses to incorporate teaching best practices and engage students in learning. We talked about the fact that we needed to cover these key concepts in 7-week classes fully online, which is a challenge if you've never done it, I promise. But we knew it was worth the redesign, and we knew it was worth it because we could focus on the students' interests and their volunteer passions. And so we started working on that process to try and redesign that course. But we also knew that we were facing some challenges along the way. And one of the things was that we knew that this course had to be focused on servant leadership and that we had to also focus on the students' interest in social justice. We knew that we had to focus on a significant cause that was worth fighting for and we could personalize throughout that course for our students.
So, in the first 2 weeks of class, we focused on the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This covers basic human rights like the right to have a residence or to get paid for a working job. We then talked about the history of social justice, issues of bias, privilege, the various biases that affect all people to some degree, such as ableism, ageism, racism, just to name a few ways in which people discriminate against each other. After talking about these concepts, my students wrote a critical reflection on what they would learn over the first 2 weeks.
In weeks 3 and 4, we ended up with, in weeks 3 and 4, the students studied leadership styles, organizational culture, emotional intelligence, and volunteerism in national and state organizations. They studied these topics and then they discussed them. And then the students wrote their own servant leadership theories and styles and discussed how they were going to develop their leadership skills even further. These were all great topics, but there was one important question we had to answer. How do we know that the students can use these skills to become servant leaders and go out and fight for social justice in the world?
So, in weeks 5 and 6, we talked about social change action plans. My students actually created their own plans to enact change in their communities. Their plans included communication strategies, an initial budget, and by the end of it, they had a whole entire plan that they could take out to investors or supporters.
And some of your student plans ended up being?
An after-school sports program to build peace and discourage gang membership, community suicide prevention and awareness through social media posts and podcasts, fighting bullying in schools with monthly meetings and support from school staff, and even a pop-up pantry event to help community food insecurity and awareness. And that was just the beginning. After creating these plans, they then created a pitch presentation to share.
And in week 7, they did the pitch presentation, and we end up moving forward into education is like a funnel. If we combined our key concepts and student engagement through personalized learning, critical thinking, and real-world problem solving, we can inspire our students to change the world and go out and build a better future. However, we have to ask one more hard reflective question. Emily, what did the students say in the course reviews?
The course reviews after the redesign were night and day. The light is shining now, and my students finally understand the importance of social justice, servant leadership, and can even create a plan to enact change in their own communities. Here's a few examples of what my students said after the course redesign. My biggest takeaway has been realizing just how powerful servant leadership, volunteerism, and good organizational culture really is. When done right, these 3 practices can make positive social change and justice within many different communities.
Even if most of them were local to us, they still mean something to each of us who want to fight that good fight. From the LGBT community to local creeks, there are battles to be fought and organizations to be built. One roadblock at a time, we can make a difference.
Our history shows us that social justice is attainable, and I hope to continue learning the routes that have been taken in the past while looking forward to an even more hopeful future.
Being a part of a team, classroom, or just a workplace where everyone is appreciated and thought of is so important to me. By creating a welcoming environment for everyone, you can also be a more effective leader.
Ultimately, the key to improving my servant leadership skills is to seek out opportunities to serve others. Thanks to this course, I'm confident that I'll be a more effective leader and make a real difference in my community and beyond.
As educators, I truly believe that we can inspire our students to change the world and believe that they can. We can build a course that teaches them how to become servant leaders for their whole lives and helps them to plan for social change. All colleges and universities need to offer a required course like this one to build future civic leaders.
So, as you can see, education is like a funnel. We take students and their big dreams in, we inspire them, and we develop their leadership skills. We pour out servant leaders into the community who want to stay connected and build a better tomorrow. Our future is held in their capable hands and caring hearts. Thank you.